We gotta see what's inside that box.
There is a loud pounding footstep that everyone on the ship would know is Ardor. The door like slams open and you see a 5 foot nothing, broad shouldered, comfy sweater looking person with their head like their hair shaved into like a mohawk and very sharp teeth. What the fuck did you do?
Yildiz is about like 5'7". They have like this brown skin that kind of resembles like honey in a bit, and their hair is actually quite similar to Ardor's in that it's gray, dyed with rainbow, but it's shaved very close to their head. And as they hear Ardor's footsteps, they turn around, still with the cigarette in hand, like hand about to go and smack this machine one more time. I had to open the box. I had to see what was inside.
If you can you stop it yelling if we're gonna look in it?
I've been trying. Come here. You know these machines a little bit better than I do. Is there a button we're supposed to press somewhere?
Did you just admit that I'm better than you at something? And Ardor is like walking over. Ardor wanted to look in the box. And they're just very smug as they walk over to the box. In my better opinion, in me being better than you at this, let's see.
Don't get used to it, Ardor.
The front of the box slides out with like this very like mechanical thunk. Steam sort of like hisses out, and then slowly this panel slides open and it reveals a person floating. This person, very dark-skinned woman wearing like this skin-tight blue bodysuit. It's a bit like one of those thermal suits that an athlete would wear. There are like restraints on each wrist, elastic bands sort of like holding them in place as they float. And their hair sort of like floats up and out and drifts off to the sides. When they open their eyes, it is just like deep, bottomless pitch black.
What the fuck kind of job did you take, Ardor?
It was a transport job. And I'm going to kill Imber. Imber? What was her name? Esper? Fuck!
At this point, Caliber would have burst through the door, and you see she's about 5'10". She has a very similar haircut to me, shaved on one side, long flowing blue hair on the other. She has this blue visor and glowing, almost LED-like eyes, a sort of swimsuit cut suit and thigh highs. And you see she already has one of her arms is transformed into this long, glowing plasma blade. She says, What's going on? Captain?
I think Esper tricked us into a slavery job.
We don't transport people, Ardor. Not like this, at least.
You know, Yildiz, that I would have never taken this job if I would have even... If you didn't open this fucking box, I would have. I had a bad feeling from the start. Fuck!
We need to get this cargo back where we found it. Right now. I'm not transporting this.
We're not taking her back. Are you kidding me?
She is not our responsibility, and I'm not doing this job.
So I think at this point in time, Renee comes like shuffling in. They're relatively on the smaller, lankier side. They're about 5'7", 5'8", so that tall. Hair is cut in kind of like a jagged, like half bob, where it's like a little too short on one side and like long on the other, with this long, like kind of oversized, billowy sweater, like a long skirt, like long, like almost like tweed skirt that sits at her ankles. And she kind of just like shuffles in. It's like, so I thought it would be a good idea to make muffins, but then the alarm started going off and I didn't know what would happen, but I think they got a little flat. But there's banana nut and blueberry and raspberry with white chocolate chips. I don't know if anybody wanted any, but I just made these. Captain, is that supposed to be there?
Not for what we're getting paid. And definitely not for my sense of morality. So no, this person is not supposed to be here. And we're not taking her back to someone who wants a person transported. Cal, see if you can get them out.
Right.
So as soon as you get close, this one who's had like a very serene expression up to this point glances down at you, and her expression immediately turns into a snarl, and she flies forward with like hand like nails like pointed and grabs for your throat, and her nails are like she is just barely not close enough to grab you by the neck, and like you can feel her nails like scratch against your skin as these elastic cords are like holding her back from just tearing into you right now.
Captain, danger levels seem to be critical.
Captain, I don't think that's supposed to happen.
She's been stuck in a box. She's probably angry. Hello? Can you understand what I'm saying?
She screams. It doesn't sound like a sound that a person could make. It is shaking the entire ship when she screams at you. And you see the elastic bands. She is like straining against them, and it looks like they are about to break.
Who's gonna take me?
Yildiz just kind of walks over to this person and like takes their free hand and like pushes the arm down that this person was using to try and attack Caliber with, and just looks down into their face and says, "Calm down. We're not here to hurt you."
This sounds like a good time for a check. Go ahead. Let's have Yildiz roll heart.
First roll.
11.
Oh, 11.
Yeah.
You see briefly deep black eyes. It feels like looking into space, and they blink, and for a moment you see like human eyes, very dark brown, and this woman looks around very briefly confused and goes, "Oh no, this isn't good. You need to run."
Run from?
Me.
Why would we need to run from you?
Because I'm not going to be able to stay me for very long.
Do you understand what she's saying?
She's speaking kind of cryptically and is like clearly very like nervous and like a little bit scared. Okay, no, it's okay. There's backups. Esper knows what to do. Just, you don't want to be here in like 15 seconds.
This isn't human trafficking?
No. What did you think? What did Esper tell you? As before she finishes saying, "What did Esper tell you?" her eyes close again, and when they open, they are that deep, inky black. She wrenches one of her arms forward, and one of the restraints breaks.
Yildiz immediately tries to close this box again.
You would have to, like, force her back in. She's, like, half out of the box at this point.
Yeah, we're doing that. We're trying to push her into the box and close it.
Roll fight.
Okay.
I was gonna offer a muffin. I don't know if that would be a good idea now.
I got a 9.
Okay, so let's see. On a 9, that's a mixed beat. So on a fight move, you can choose 2 options, and then the other person will get to choose 1. Yes, you choose 2 and they choose 1. So pushing her back into the box, I'm going to say that is create an opportunity for an ally. So you can choose one other option, and then she's going to choose one.
Okay, I think the other option that I will choose is seize a superior position in order to get myself positioned over her in such a way that it's difficult for her to like get back up again.
Okay, you like grab her by the wrists and are like pushing where you feel you like half above her, and you are holding her in place so she won't fly immediately back out. She looks over, a crate lifts up and flies across the room and smashes into you. So you are going to take one condition.
In that case, Yildiz is going to take the angry condition because they were not expecting a person to be in this box, let alone a hostile person, and they are pissed.
Caliber is going to almost mechanically reach her hand back to where she knows you all are and is waiting expectantly.
Renee immediately just kind of like doesn't really know what to do here, but has like that tray of muffins that's like shaking in her hands right now. And it's just like, do you want a banana nut?
I think with those actions, Arter's like, okay, gotta help out Yildiz, and reaches out and grabs Caliber's hand and asks, nothing sharp, please.
We can do that.
So,
and
what I was trying to do with the muffins, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
What I was trying to do with the muffins was use my fight move to create an opportunity for an ally using a distraction.
I don't know if you can fight with muffins. I like the idea.
It was yeah.
Are you like putting a
Just trying to be
muffin,
creative. Like I'm just like distraction. Muffins?
you can put a muffin like in her face. Be like, please eat this.
Like shove a banana nut muffin in her face. Like here. Would you like this muffin?
Here's what here's the compromise I'll make. You can roll plus heart. And this will just be you helping out.
Okay. Okay, cool. That's a 7.
Okay. I'll say on your 7, you are sort of like dividing her attention now because she's like looking at Yildiz and then looking at you, and not really paying that much attention to what Arter and Caliber are doing. So I'll say that she's not necessarily being as aggressive towards them at this moment.
Then maybe she doesn't quite notice when Caliber starts glowing and transforms fully into a not sharp, massive plasma hammer.
That'll do. Clear. And Arter is gonna step around and try and sort of slam this into this woman's chest, trying to like not swing too hard because Arter knows that they are very strong.
At the last moment, Yildiz is going to like step back, hands up, so that they don't get caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you have the coordination to do that. Although maybe you don't like that you have the coordination to do that. So now Arter, go ahead and roll your fight.
Daring, that's 10 plus 2, that is a 12.
Ooh, okay. So that means you get to choose 3 things from this fight.
Neat. Maybe something, I feel like maybe something that might help us comes off of the woman. So take an object from your opponent, maybe?
Okay.
Create an opportunity, hopefully to close this box.
Okay.
And I think, God, I don't feel like the first one applies. And so, like, even though it probably is going to upset Arter, I feel like inflicting the condition on this woman.
Okay. I think you as Yildiz dives out of the way and you brings this hammer down, you sort of stun her and she is distracted for long enough. So she's definitely angry as she like snarls in your direction.
Can I, in this moment, try to figure them out?
I will let you do that. I'm going to say before that happens, I'm going to resolve this. You are also going to take a condition as you just get sort of like a wave of force sort of just smashes into you and throws you backwards a couple of feet. But there is now sort of this opportunity as she is catching her breath to close the box. Would you like to roll figure out a person?
Yep, I'm also taking the condition guilty because Arter is not happy that they had to do that. That is a fail. I got a 4. But
Okay.
when I figure out a person in a physical conflict, I can ask one of these questions, even on a 6-. And what awakens the beast inside this woman?
So you had that interaction where she like shifted a little bit and was very calm, and then as she understood her situation, became like very anxious and worried. It seems like this is sort of a defense mechanism. When she is like anxious or afraid, it seems like this other side comes out. Is sort of like a like self-defense. So that is what awakens the beast. I am going to remember that you roll that 4 though, because that means I get to take a hard move. But yeah, she is winded. She is stunned momentarily. Is someone gonna try to close the box? Okay.
Yildiz, being the closest to the box, is going to immediately, seeing the opportunity, like shove that box closed, and is going to like stay pressed up against it for a couple moments afterwards to make sure that it stays closed.
Okay. You force the doors shut and are just sort of holding it shut as it sort of like rattles like in place. Like you can sort of still hear her voice, like very muffled, like shaking everything. But a moment later, the box makes this just like this pleasant little chime sound, like ding, and the alarm stops and it is quiet.
Well done, Caliber.
Thank you. We were great.
Yeah, you did great. Can we talk about what we're gonna do with her, though?
She's terrified.
You shouldn't smoke. Those are really bad for you.
Sorry, and they just kind of like flick the cigarette into like just the room, and then if it lands kind of close enough to them, they'll just kind of like step on it to put it out.
Oh, I guess nobody wants my muffins. That's totally fine.
Hey.
I'm just gonna go back
Renee,
into...
sweetheart, I would like a muffin.
I mean, you don't have to eat a muffin if you don't want to. I just
would
made
like
them
a muffin, and I also need your help.
What would you like me to do? She kind of like stands up at attention, just like nods her head.
See, Yildiz, it's not that hard.
Yeah, you'll see me dead before I act like that.
Promise. Arter is going to look back at Renee and just be like, you're a communications officer. I need you to get Esper on the line, and I need you to remind me when I talk to Esper not to reach through the hologram and strangle them.
Okay. Like she like pulls out, like she like puts the tray down next on like a little table like next to her, like on the desk, and like pulls out this notebook, and it's like, remind Esper that Arter should not strangle them through the phone. Is that all you need, Kat?
I feel like they're trying not to laugh, and like they're this weird, like angry, like guilty, like fucked up mood, and they're just like, no, sweetheart, you're doing great. And I think Arter's gonna just take a random muffin out of the tray.
I hope you like them. Those were the blueberry ones. I made them vegan because I don't really know everyone's dietary restrictions here yet. I'm still learning though, but I just figured it would be a nice breakfast for everybody. And kind of like flips her notebook back closed and is like, on it, and like leaves out the room. Back over to the comm center.
And you do have Esper's contact information, so you can just call them up.
types it in because like at this point in time doesn't even really need to look at it, just kind of knows it already and just like pulls everything up and just presses call. And then like I'm guessing like there some type of like walkie system.
So, you were asking me if there is a shipwide comm. Yeah, you definitely have some
Everything?
kind of comm system, whether it's
Okay.
like earpieces or smartphones or whatever you want it to be. There's definitely a way for you to communicate on the
Okay.
ship.
Co-cap. And immediately just like, Cap, I got Esper on the phone. They haven't picked up yet, but if you can come to the comm station as soon as you can, they'll probably pick up real soon. And do not strangle them through the phone. Remember that.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Arter out loud to the other two. They're like, Renee's a good communications officer.
And a good baker.
Mhm.
That she is. And Yildiz is also like eating a muffin at this point as well.
Yeah. I would say as you three are like en route, and Renee, you are the only one in the communications room as the call connects. And you see Esper, who is like this very like tall, like buff, beautiful, like non-binary, like athlete build. You just see like their upper body and like in a sports bra and like a sheen of sweat as they're like on a treadmill. And they're like, "Oh, hey, you're with Arter, right? I didn't catch your name. You're the quiet one."
Uh, uh, yeah. I work the command center. Yeah, I'm good with languages and stuff. I speak like 12.
Oh, yeah,
She
that's
kind of like puts her
impressive.
head down.
I just speak the one, so 12 is real good. So everything going okay with the job? You
Something, and like she's clearly trying to like avoid looking at this beautiful specimen, and it's just like something really weird happened, and I still don't necessarily know what exactly it was. Um, it didn't necessarily want my muffins, but I called Cap, and they're on the way right now. The ship's just kind of big, and it kind of takes a long time. But I'm sorry to bother you, and I'll be out of your way, and just kind of like dodges out of the way of the camera a
It's
bit.
like, oh, hey, you're no bother. Like normally I just have podcasts on when I'm running, so this is fine. I'm sorry, what was that about muffins?
I made some. I kind of good in the kitchen.
Oh, you'll have
I
to
don't
bring me
really want
some
to talk about it.
next time you stop
I'll
by, you'll have to
definitely
bring
make
me
you some.
something.
Yeah, for sure. I can make all types, all different types. Whatever you want. You just let me know, and I can make you any type of muffin you want.
And that is the moment when the rest of you enter the room.
Arter's like, you will not. Esper, what the fuck?
Renee immediately runs to the back, like, and is like kind of like hiding a bit behind Yildiz, just like,
I'd like to say at this point, Arter's like staring the camera right on, and Arter's 5 foot tall. And Arter grasps the back of the seat that Renee was sitting in to make this call, and their arm gets larger, and Arter starts to get taller. Their dark skin starts to take on like a steely sort of color, but they're not fully transforming, but there's rows of teeth in their mouth, and they're like, why the fuck is there a person in the box?
I mean, listen, you do taxi stuff all the time. I don't see what the big deal is.
Yeah.
Did you open the box? 'Cause I did say like 4 times that you shouldn't open the box.
So while I personally didn't open the box, I was probably going to, because you told me not to open the box. Esper, because this is human trafficking if they're in a box, not a taxi.
Hey, it's only human trafficking if they don't ask you to do it. Okay? She paid me to get her off planet.
Is there a reason that she had to be in a box and couldn't just, sit in a chair?
Well, there's 2 reasons. I'm not super inclined to tell you either one of them at this moment because they're kind of sensitive information. But I can see you're getting a little sharky. So, okay, here's what I can tell you. The location you are on your way to, if you look up the address, it's public information, you will see is a very specialized hospital. That's the first thing I'll tell you. The second thing I'll tell you is the reason why she had to pay me to get off planet and didn't just get into a nice, cozy little shuttle is because there are people looking for her.
And that's why she's terrified out of her goddamn mind, becoming a fucking creature in there?
Well, no, that thing is, well, yes and no.
Not really telling us a whole lot, are you, Esper?
Well, like I said, not everything is my place to tell. But I mean, if you had, did you at least like use the proper like safety protocols and like release sequences, or did you just pull the emergency release and open it that way?
Oh, no, we hit her with a hammer. I was the hammer.
That was to put her back.
Okay, you did get her back in, so that's good. So she's not gonna murder you yet. But so I assume someone just like pulled the emergency release hatch and like a big loud alarm came off and opened it that way.
I like to imagine that Yildis's methods of opening the box were less finesse and more just brute force.
Okay. If you do the proper opening sequence, if you trigger everything correctly, then you should be able to, first of all, not have the alarms go off. And second, should, wake her up a little more gradually so she won't panic and try to blow you up.
Did you say, did you just say blow me up in space where explosions can tear holes in my hull? Esper?
Well, I meant it more as like a euphemism. Blow
A
up
euphemism
is
for
use terrifying psychic abilities to tear your ship to pieces.
You just hear like a squeal behind Yildiz. It's like,
Again, would not have been a problem if you didn't open the box.
would not have been a problem if we knew what was in the box when you gave it to us, Esper.
They do have a fair point. Esper.
Thank
Not
you,
saying that
Renee.
you're wrong, but that we should know what's on the ship if we have to carry it just for safety's sake.
Esper. Who is coming after my ship now?
Oh, well, probably no one is coming after your ship specifically. They might be waiting at your destination when you arrive, but like, they're not looking for you.
another squeal.
Esper, we may not have known each other, but you know my reputation, which is why we are currently in space transporting a person. What the fuck makes you think that I'm going to drop this girl at this hospital and fuck off? These people that are after her are now my crew's problem too.
Well, if you're volunteering to protect her.
Oh no. How much did she pay you?
Well, let's see. Your cut was about 30%. So, yeah, I kept the rest of it. I didn't keep all of it because I did have to file some paperwork, so I got about 50% end of, but
yeah, you're gonna have to cut another 10% of that from yourself, buddy, for danger fees. If anything happens to the ship, you're paying for it.
You know what? You're a shrewd negotiator. That's why I like you. I am gonna wire you that 10%. And she couldn't have asked for better bodyguards. So great work, everybody. Good job, team. Now that you have already opened the box once, I guess it's not a big deal if I tell you the correct opening sequence. At this point, they have like turned off the treadmill and have like picked up the phone and are like moving across the room with it. So listen, I will send you this information, just start typing. if you do this correctly, you can ask her all the questions you want to ask. Just be careful. Safe travels. Anything else I could do for you?
No, anything else I'll take from you when I see you next in person.
You are terrifying, and you know what? That's why I like you. This has been great, guys. Team. So later then. And ends the call.
I said we did a good job. I think we're doing good. This is great. I came here in a box. Do you remember this?
Yeah, how could I forget? The shock of seeing a weapon turn into a person. Now that I will never forget, Caliber.
So now, Renee, like on your comm, you do have like the proper like opening sequence. So there's like a 7-step process on all of the like different like panels and mechanisms, so that
Renee just takes out her notebook, starts taking notes. This
Caliber, Yildiz, are the both of you going to be ready for a fight when we reach our destination?
fight,
Arm turns into a plasma cannon.
fight.
Yes or nay?
Well, I wasn't necessarily prepped for fight, but me and Caliber have been training a little bit, and she teach me how to use my new sword, and just kind of like in like this sheath like that's behind her, just pulls out like this new shiny blade and just kind of like adjusts her grip on it a bit, and it's like this, right, Cal?
Yeah, turn your wrist a little bit. She's getting better every day.
Whoa there, Renee. And like you'll just kind of like dodges out of the way as I imagine like maybe Renee's not fully like used to holding the weight of the sword yet, and it's kind of swinging a little bit.
At all.
So
Just a
you'll
little
just
bit.
kind of like moves out of the way a little bit like
I apologize. I'm still trying to get better, but Cal says I'm getting better all the time. So by the time that I'll just work with her a little bit more, and I'll be ready to fight in no time. I promise.
You want to spar, Renee? And they kind of indicate like the sword that is strapped to their own back as well.
I don't know necessarily if I'm ready for you yet. But give me like maybe like 2, 3 more lessons with Cal, and then I'm all for it. I'm ready to take on the big dogs.
Renee,
Oh,
I don't
Renee.
think you'll ever be ready for me, but whatever you say.
She kind of like dejectedly like puts her sword back in. And just
Renee, hold on.
I'll be ready.
Hold on a bit. I actually thought of a great idea. Now, while I handle this mess, Yildiz, you know what you'd be great at? Teaching
Captain?
Renee a little bit.
Ugh.
So, why don't we put on our happy face?
Eyes get real
Take
wide.
Renee down to our sparring room. And Kel, how about you help Renee out against Yildiz? I'm sure that the both of you working together would make a great experience.
Renee, are you ready to wield unfathomable power?
Yeah,
Excellent.
I can do it.
It's great. I'm lighter than your sword, and it'll be like an extension of you.
Extension of me. Okay, extension of me. I can do this. I can do this. Let's go.
She takes your hand and is already heading down there.
Renee's hand is like gripping yours very tightly, like sweaty palms, like this false bravado, but it's just like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this.
Yildiz walks out slowly, but just as they're leaving, like in the door frame, about to leave the comm center, they kind of just turn back to Ardor and say, "Don't let her kill you, or I'll have to be captain." And then they walk out.
Thank you for the threat.
Yeah, I love you all so much. Renee is so precious. So let's do this little scene real quick. I don't want to do like full like PvP rules, but let's just have everybody. It'll be Yildiz versus Renee and Caliber. You've got like this sort of like almost like gymnasium room where there's like weights along one wall, and there's like a couple of other exercise machines, and then there is like a training dummy and like not really a weapons rack, but like there's a couple of little practice swords. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna Yildiz, tell me about your weapon and how you fight.
So I think Yildiz's weapon is also a sword, but it's one that they got during one of their runs. So Yildiz used to be a member of an illegal smuggling outfit that used to transport weapons across the galaxy. And during one of these jobs, they decided that instead of transporting the item, they wanted to keep it. It was kind of nice. So it's kind of like a long sword that has little, like, almost runes, like, etched into it that light up and produce, like, I want to say, like laser out of it, essentially, that sort of act as an extension, as, like, spikes coming out of this sword. And the fighting style that Yildiz adopts it's like the opposite of a dance. If you think of like graceful sword fighting, it is very much not that. Yildiz is all like brute force, no finesse whatsoever.
And so like we've got Caliber, who is the laser sword. We have Renee, who is like the novice fighter. So I'm gonna have Yildiz and Renee both roll to fight. And then Caliber, you can use your moves to help Renee in the fight.
Okay. And Renee, do remember that if you'd like, you can roll spirit instead of daring.
Perfect. All right. Cool.
I'm so sorry I rolled so high.
Ha! That's a 7.
I got a 14.
So you rolled
Well,
double
Learning
sixes.
Well,
So I think to set the scene, if we're sparring and this is meant to be a training sort of like fight for Renee specifically, I think Yildiz is going to sort of step back and let Renee take the first blow, and is just going to be there to parry, essentially. Like, they're not here to try and attack you, they're just here to like defend and help you hone your skills. They're gonna sort of like unsheath their sword from their back. They're gonna run their hand along the blade, and like the runes kind of light up and these like laser spikes form. And they'll stand there looking at you, and then they'll kind of like nod at you to indicate like, take your first hit.
after taking her hand, Caliber will say, "That thing, don't even worry about that weapon. It's nothing compared to me. Just think about what you're most comfortable with, and I will be that for you."
I think so. What's most comfortable for Renee is probably like a big wooden spoon.
Okay.
Like, or like a big like metal spoon, something along the lines of that, like something that she knows for sure that she knows the weight to and can wield most efficiently.
You see Caliber transform, and she has sort of the holster is gold and white with these blue lights going up to it. And then instead of a sword coming out, these sort of where the plasma usually takes form of a blade, it is just a massive spoon. And you just hear sort of echoing, reverbing in your minds, "Oh, no, this is good. This is good."
You said what I was most comfortable with, and this is probably it. Yeah, this is probably it.
It's going to be the best weapon you could wield. Go at it.
I feel a lot better. And then like kind of like squares her back and her shoulders up a little bit to like get ready to stand to Yildiz, and just like brandishes this like large spoon and kind of like a mom who's like shooing her children out of the kitchen is just like swings it at you, and it just widely misses. Just
I think as you're
Next one's
wielding
better.
the spoon, right, and you like swing it and miss it, Yildiz is going to like step around you and like I like to imagine that they like grab the hilt of the spoon and then kind of pull it around behind you. And so they're like really close behind you now. And I imagine like if you're standing here, their head is like here by your shoulder and their mouth is like by your ear and they just kind of whisper, "It's a little hard to fight with a spoon. You might want to pick a different weapon." And then they let go and step back.
And I think Renee hears that and just kind of like bristles a little bit and then just goes, "You never met my mom," and like turns around and like attempts to swing at you again.
Let's do one more fight checks from Yildiz and Renee.
Uh,
I got a 9.
That was a 5.
Ooh. I
Mark
think then...
XP. Mark.
I'm like,
Oh,
it's
that's
7.
true.
It was 7.
Um,
It was 7 actually, is what that was. Yeah.
Oh, Mark XP.
6. I'm sorry, me and math. Is
Mark
not
XP.
good at all.
can
Yeah. So hold on. So if Caliber wants to increase it, then you won't get XP. But I think even with you helping, you can only make it an 8. So it's still going to be less than what Yildiz got.
Fair enough. I was trying to see if there's anything.
I'm about to use these dice in a second.
They'd both be what's it called? Successes.
Mixed successes.
Mixed
Yeah.
successes, you know?
That's
I like-
true.
I
Yeah.
like to imagine maybe the compromise is that Renee manages to hit Yildiz like with the spoon. So Yildiz isn't able to dodge the attack because it came so suddenly and so surprisingly. But at the same time, I think maybe like Yildiz is able to disarm Renee or something like immediately afterwards.
100%. 100%. Just
Bro,
like
just
snatches it
throws
from
Caliber right across the room. Like, fuck this.
me. Like afterwards, like Renee's like breathing heavy and it's like, you know, I kind of knew I wasn't ready for you yet, and I kind of proved true, but I'll be ready for you next time. And
You
she kind
hit
of like
me.
looks over to Caliber and is like, "Thank you. I'll do better. I promise. I won't let you guys down. I
Caliber
promise."
Caliber is back in her regular form, just in a pile of dumbbells. And sort of gets up and brushes herself off. You know what? No, that's on me. I'm not used to that weapon form. We'll be more synchronized next time.
You
You
know
said
what,
whatever I
Renee?
was comfortable with, and that was the only thing I could think of.
And it's great. It's I need to get more comfortable with it. That's not you.
What was Yildiz saying?
I think Yildiz, like as they're sheathing their sword again, it's like gone back down into its regular form, and they're sheathing it, and they just go up to Renee, who I imagine is like maybe like on the ground or something, and they like crouch down next to her, and they just put an arm on Renee's shoulder, and they say, "You hit me, and that's huge. If you had a real weapon, maybe you could have done better as well."
Well, I still feel differently about the weapon because, like, my mom, she's wielded that thing a lot of times and done a lot of damage. But maybe I'm just not there just yet. So, I'll be better next time.
You're doing great, Renee. And Caliber, I'm impressed. I didn't know you could turn into a giant spoon.
Well, I can be anything. So if you want to wield a real weapon, you know where I am.
Renee's like immediately getting more and more dejected as everyone is like discounting the wooden spoon as a weapon. Just like, I gotta think of better ones next time.
And I think from that we can cut to Arder's conversation.
Yeah. So what is Arter doing in this moment?
Arter is going through. Arter just sort of like grabbed the communication log to go through these steps, and they're trying to calm down from their little outburst in which they began to shark out because they were just so fucking upset. So they've gone through the process and now they're just sitting next to the box to wait, like steep their fingers and just sort of like, well, you got yourself into something interesting at least.
Are you opening it, or are you waiting for everyone to be together before you open it?
Oh no, I'm opening it, and I like honestly, Arter planned it this way just to sort of try and get try and not overwhelm this person.
All right. So I'm going to say this time when you go through the whole sequence, basically you watch as the box sort of like transforms itself and shifts into a table. And then like as it opens a little bit more slowly this time, there's a little bit more of like you hear like a few more like mechanical whirs and like buzzes as like this thing like slides open, and then the wrist restraints that are there just sort of retract themselves and release. This time the woman is not floating, she's just lying on the table, and when she comes to, she has like her normal brown eyes, and she sits up and goes, "Oh, good. Looks like everything is under." Ow.
Yeah, sorry about that. Arter's gonna offer the sweater that they were wearing and a like small little pod of like what definitely like space painkillers.
Yeah, thank you. And like takes the painkillers and pulls on the sweater. Um, okay, so we're here.
No, because Esper didn't tell me what's going on with you. Apparently there are people hunting you down, and I would like to ask for some clarification.
I am so sorry. I thought you like knew what was going on. Okay, so here's the deal. I am kind of a reporter, like you could call it. I do, um, sort of self-published journalism, um, on my website. So I was looking into this place that I thought was abandoned. It was like this old military base that was supposed to be shut down like a super long time ago, but it was like really not shut down. And I was just like taking some videos for the blog, the publication, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I heard like this super loud noise and this flash of light, and when I woke up, uh, a bunch of walls had like come down, and I was outside. And so I thought, that's weird. I should get out of here. So I went home and I thought everything would be okay. But then every time I sort of get stressed out or angry, sort of break things,
You have panic attacks from hell.
kind of. So I've been trying to figure out what it was, and I was asking around, trying to get help, and then people kept like showing up with like weapons, and I think some of them were from the government. I think some of them were not from the government, but every time they would show up and things would get scary again, and then I would black out again, and then when I woke up, they weren't there anymore. So basically, I got Esper to try to help me get away so I could figure out what was happening. I figured being asleep would be the safest way to travel because then I wouldn't stress myself out.
Now I'm going to ask you a question, which might make you afraid. How do you know that this hospital will be safe for you to try and figure out what is wrong with you?
Well, I mean, they have a really good reputation for figuring out like weird and bizarre problems. Like, I don't know for sure that it's my best option, but it's, I don't know what else to do.
I know a bit about losing control and not exactly being yourself. If you want, of course, we're still on course to go to the hospital. If you want, I could help you through some things that I use to examine my less personable side.
You're talking about like yoga?
Uh, I do use guided meditation at times, but when you are a shark thing, when you get really angry, I think it's a little different than yoga.
All right, fair. I mean, be willing to give it a shot. My name is Melanie, by the way.
Nice to meet you, Melanie. I am Captain Arter.
So, I mean, like, how far out are we from destination?
That's a good question.
You would know. You're like about a day flying through space. So you've got a little bit of time to like chat and get to know each other.
We're about a day's travel.
Okay, all right. That's not too far.
Not at all.
Are you sure you feel okay with me like just being out like this?
We managed to put you back in the box the first time. I just would prefer not having to do that to you again.
I appreciate it.
Of course. Do you like sweets?
Sure.
My communications officer made some muffins. And Arter's going to pick up like the muffin tray that they left in this room when they went to go to the communications room.
Yeah. Takes muffin.
Just offer. Again, I'm very knowledgeable about sort of when people have another side to them. Are you interested in trying out one of my little exercises? Because if it's part of you, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to connect with it while you're conscious.
Oh yeah, like yeah, totally. I would be totally down to do that. This mouthful of muffin. Sorry, they don't let you eat for like 24 hours before cryo?
Makes sense. Don't want to freeze anything in your gut. Eat as much as you like. You should probably meet the rest of the crew, so that way they're not too worried.
Mhm.
And then we can do a meditation in a room that is not the cargo hold.
Yeah, I'll say at this point, as you three are like coming up from sparring, and Arter and Melanie are sort of going in the opposite direction, you sort of meet in the middle, and you can sort of sit down somewhere comfortable, and like, everybody gets filled in on the situation, and you all introduce yourselves. It really goes, thank you for the muffins.
You like them?
Yeah, they're really good.
Thanks. That's a recipe my mom taught me a long time ago, but it always seems to work. It always seems to get the consistency just right. Um, but I did want to know, it is almost time for dinner. So can I get everybody's orders? And pulls out the big notebook again and immediately like just looks at everyone like very expectantly, like, tell me what you want.
I mean, like, what do you like have? Is it all going to be like dehydrated stuff or?
Dehydrated.
We
Absolutely.
do short range missions mostly.
Yeah,
So
no.
we have a lot
fresh
of
vegetables and stuff here. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't do
cool.
that. I feed my friends like my family. I wouldn't feed my family MREs or anything like that. I mean, not unless we had to, but if we don't have to, I would much rather give them fresh things. Would you
Renee's going
like?
to be in a big shock when we go on our first long range mission.
Yildiz kind of goes up and like pats Renee on the back, maybe a little bit too hard, and just says to the room, "Yeah, and Renee can wield a large spoon like no one else, apparently."
I was the spoon.
That was, I understand that that was kind of like a comment towards me and my ability to fight, but that will change very soon. I'll take your order last.
Renee, I actually think that might have been a compliment coming from Yildiz.
Oh, okay. Then what do you want?
Yildiz kind of like chuckles a little bit and just says, "I'll have whatever, sorry, I don't think I got your name," indicating the woman.
Yeah, Melanie. A salad would be amazing. I haven't had vegetables in like a month.
Drown
Okay.
that salad in dressing, though.
We have all different types. We have French, Italian, Polynesian. We have a raspberry vinaigrette and a balsamic vinaigrette as well. We have light ranch, honey mustard, blue cheese, and I think there's like this really weird olive oil and vinegar mix that's for like when people are not really liking a lot of flavor in their stuff. I'm not a big fan of it, but we got that too.
How much of our food budget did you spend on sauces?
Some people like to dip.
We all know
survive.
Yildiz is trying to leave crew.
I could survive off of straight plasma, but eating is fun.
I have an entire plasma source just for you, though, Caliber. Don't worry about it. I know how you like yours. Seared on one side and extra seasoned on the other, kind of blackened. I gotcha. Anyone else? Just kind of like closes the notebook expectantly and goes, "Well, I'm not sure what else we have to do today, but it's getting kind of late, and I know some people like to eat early. So if there's nothing else for me, Kat, I am going to head to the kitchen. You know how to get me on my comm." And just kind of
Mhm.
shuffles her away to the kitchen.
She's a cute little dagger, that one.
Or a spoon.
I heard that.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, so you know that like some scary people with weapons might be waiting for you when you land.
Yildiz, if it's, you know, paramilitary type bullshit, is there anyone that you might have contacts for to figure out what we might be dealing with?
My old contacts might not be. I may have burned those bridges when I left, but there was one person, Eirik. He wasn't quite happy with the outfit, same as me. I think he's still with them though. Maybe I could try and contact him, see if he knows anything.
It would be appreciated if you could.
Do we want to call this calling on a toxic power?
Yes. Yes.
Spicy.
Ooh.
Right. So, let's roll to call on a toxic power. I got a 9.
Okay. So,
Okay. So I get to ask one question.
sorry, I'm pulling it up now. Yes. You ask one question and then I choose one.
Okay. So I think the way that this plays out is I don't think Yildiz would be comfortable making this phone call in front of everyone.
Mhm.
Even though everybody knows, presumably, a little bit at least about Yildiz's past, I think that they're still kind of hesitant to just let all of that be laid bare. So they just kind of step out into the hallway or something, I imagine, and then using their like communication device that Renee insisted everybody have these watches, everybody have these communication watches. So Yildiz just kind of pulls it out. Okay, guess we're just gonna, and then like calls, puts in sort of the code that they know will take them to Eirik.
All right. Give me just like a really quick descriptor. Like, who is Eirik?
So I think Eirik was somebody who, as I mentioned, was like part of their like smuggling outfit from before. They're like really tall, like 6'2" individual. They're kind of, if you imagine like strongman type build, so they have like a lot of like fat, but it's like functional muscle underneath it. They have really dark skin, kind of a plain feel about them, really. Like you look at them and you're like, I don't really think this person is that dangerous. But then on a dime, he just kind of can flip and just be a terrifying person, and that's why he was part of the, that's why he's such a valuable member of the outfit specifically.
Yeah. So I think you call like this private line, and it rings for a bit, and then you hear a voice go, "You should not be calling this number."
You know, I wouldn't be calling if I didn't have to.
Well, that's what I'm afraid of.
All right, well, I suppose there's no point in waxing poetic about our lives, so let me just cut straight to the chase. We're going to a hospital, specialized one. And we're expecting to not exactly have the most friendly of welcoming parties waiting for us there. Do you know anything about this? Have you heard anything on the airwaves?
You said a hospital?
A hospital. Specialized? I think it does something about weird, odd conditions. Almost supernatural, if you ask me.
Oh, well, that's not good news. Well, I guess I should ask you this. Are you going to the hospital to hunt for a bounty?
No, and I don't like that you ask that.
Well, then it sounds like you're going to be on the wrong side of some real nasty people.
Please tell me you're not going to be there.
Nah, not my scene.
All right, who is? Who do I need to be worried about?
Well, I don't know everybody who's taken the job, but I'm pretty sure Chloe Strix is going to be there.
And question for the game master. What do I know about Chloe?
Right, so you have that infamous move where you like know about dangerous people. Can you read it to me?
Yes. Give me 1 second. Yes, okay. When you hear about a villain for the first time, you may decide that you know them from your past. If so, give them a string on you to ask a question from the Figure Out a Person list and take +1 forward against them.
Okay, so if you want to say Chloe Strix has a string on you, then you can ask any question from that list about her. Otherwise, you'll just get what your contact knows.
Okay. I'm gonna say yes. Chloe and I, maybe we never did a job together, but we did oftentimes end up taking the same bounties in the past, and so our paths often crossed in that way. And the question that I'm going to ask is, what do you hope to get from Melanie specifically, or from like capturing Melanie?
So you've worked with Chloe enough, or not with, but like opposed to Chloe enough times. You know, Chloe does not waste her time on small jobs. Uh, she doesn't leave the house for less than like a 7-digit figure. Um, so you know if Chloe Strix is involved, this is a big, big score for some, very nasty people.
All right, well, not quite sure what exactly this cargo can do that warrants such a large bounty, but I guess we know what to be prepared for then.
All right, you be safe out there. Well, safe as you can be.
You too, Eric. And if you ever want to leave, let me know.
Maybe I'm about ready to retire one of these days, but not quite yet.
Okay. And I think they hang up.
Okay, and I think that is a good time for a break. Let us return from break here. We have Melanie and Arter are, doing just some guided meditation practice. Who else would be present for this? Who else would have? I'll say this is after dinner. Everybody's already had their, eaten. Melanie gives Renee glowing compliments. So who would want to participate in this like guided meditation practice?
Yildiz thinks this is so silly and unnecessary, they are not joining.
I think Renee would probably check with Caliber X first, just to be like, because this kind of is a little bit different from what they are, like what they're used to in relation to how they grew up and how to her meditation is prayer and prayer only. So anything outside of that is like, hold on there. Like, I think it's another one of those conflicts with her traditions, like not explicitly stated in like her outlines, but more inward interpersonal kind of like her fighting in between that as well. Also, just being with this group in general is already kind of like a big X into like one of her commandments as well, I think. Like not going unchaperoned with like magic people or people who have like special abilities and stuff like that. So I was like looking at my commandments and I was like, I think I could probably make a conviction out of one of these and like just completely ignore one of my traditions as well. But that's up to you, Jim.
Well,
Please feel free to say no.
Let's explore it a bit and see how it goes. So you're going to go and sort of
Oh,
ask
cool.
Caliber for guidance on like whether or not this is okay. So what do you ask?
So when Arter makes the claim that they're gonna go and do like this guided meditation, I think Renee kind of gets a little stiff and kind of like backs up just a little bit and kind of like inches her way over to Caliber and it's just like, is this normal here? Like I mean, I'm not trying to be like weird or make things different or be like that person, but like like for me growing up, meditating was prayer and that was all that you need because like the authority was going to guide you right. So I mean I'm trying to do different. I know I'm not there anymore, but is this is common? Like, do you guys do this all the time?
Oh, Renee, I don't know what prayer is, but generally, what we do when we say we're meditating is we're just trying to clear our minds and prepare ourselves for any, well, whatever the day might have ahead of us, or maybe the week or the month. When your head is clouded with thoughts, it makes it difficult to execute functions that might need to happen, that you might need to execute. So if you keep yourself calm and keep your mind not necessarily clear, but fluid in a way, then you'll be able to handle yourself in stressful situations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that kind of sounds like prayer to me, but okay, cool. And so
Maybe it's the same thing. I don't know.
it could be. I would show you what prayer was, but the way I know it is I really necessarily wouldn't recommend it for anybody else. So I'll try this kind.
I'll join you.
So Yildiz is sitting this one out as, Ardor. So you have these three people in front of you who are just sort of like waiting expectantly for you to like teach them how to meditate.
And so I think at this point, Ardor has had this like really comfy looking like flannel shirt, and they just sort of take it off, and they're wearing like an undershirt, and like their arms that were covered by the sleeves have this like large like ocean very detailed like ocean tattoo that goes their shoulders, their upper chest, and across, and has like schools of fish, and on over their heart they have a great white. And they sort of like, all right, guided meditation, it's all about comfort. It's all about reaching into yourself. At least for me. It's strange to exist in a world where people fit themselves into boxes. Kind of literally for you, Melanie. When all of life happens outside of them. But I also understand that not everyone can live that way. It's a balance. So what we're going to start with is a connection to yourself. We're looking for that piece that takes over. And it's going to be a little weird for you, Caliber and Renee, but everyone has parts of themselves that they need to connect with. So get as comfortable as you can. Yes, Renee.
Cap,
Quick, are you, Sam, are you muted in Google Meets?
Thank you.
Yes, I was.
All right. I was trying to let Vic finish talking before I did that.
oh no, it's fine.
Go ahead, continue.
When you say like reach inside of yourself, what do you mean? And do I have to take my sweater off? Because
If you don't want to, you don't have to.
I don't know necessarily if I'm like comfortable with showing that much skin yet.
That's fine.
You have like
It's
tattoos.
figurative.
That's wild. Is that a shark?
Yes, it is.
That's another question for later. Okay. And she kind of like plops down on the floor and like crisscross applesauce and just like looks at you expectantly and goes, okay, reach inside of myself, whatever that means.
Are you comfortable?
I mean, I'm on the floor. I guess I'm as comfortable as I can be on the floor.
Okay, that's fine.
Should
Cal,
I be in a comfier chair?
if you want to be, I don't mind.
Like looks around the room for like her chair. Kind of grabs it, pulls it over, and like sits in and is like, all right, much better, much better. Okay, inside myself.
We'll get started soon, Renee. Just get comfortable for now. Caliber, are you comfortable?
Oh, comfort is not a problem. We can begin whenever you're ready.
Caliber, that was a question from your captain. Are you comfortable right now?
Yes, I'm comfortable. And you see her shoulders slack a little bit from where they were pretty rigid and attentive.
That's good. I'm glad. And Melanie, how are you feeling right now?
Much less stressed than I thought I would be, given everything going on.
I'm glad to hear that. Now, everyone, close your eyes. I like to start my meditation with visualization, especially because it's me connecting to a part that it can be frightening to other people. So close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths with me. And Arthur's going to start sort of guiding them through this exercise, which is meant to sort of Arthur's trying to lead Melanie into sort of interacting with whatever is defending her when she's afraid. But I feel like with Renee and Caliber, they like it almost takes the tint of interacting with the things that you are afraid to show others.
I would like it if you would please roll. Heart is your stat, right?
Heart is my big stat.
Yeah, go ahead and roll heart for me.
All right. It's a 15. That is a 6,
All
a 6, and a
right.
3, dear.
All right. So I think Caliber and Renee, Arter's voice is just, it's very calming. It's, like just sort of like the tone of it and like the stillness of the room and like the lack of urgency. It's just at this moment, you have nothing to worry about. It's just you and yourself. And it's almost like through this guided meditation, you are almost like withdrawing within yourself in this moment as you sort of feel connected to the parts of yourself that you would normally ignore. And I'm going to let you think about what that means for you. But what it means for Melanie is when she opens her eyes, one of them is, the like her honey brown iris, and the other one is the deep black with like no iris, no sclera, just a black, nothingness. And when she speaks, there is an echo as if there's like two voices talking, and she says, "Oh, that's different. Hi. Um, um, hi. I mean, this is, wow, this is new. Do you wanna, oh, no, no, it's okay. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. Just like, yeah, yeah, we're okay right now. Yeah, it's okay. Well, you know what? Just, I'm here. Um, she blinks a couple of times and then both of her eyes are back to normal. She goes, huh,
Interesting, right?
yeah, I didn't. There's another person with me.
Hmm.
I I don't think they're human. I think they're something else.
It's a little frightening, but very powerful, honestly. Maybe,
Yeah, but go ahead.
maybe they're what found you at the installation, the military installation.
Yeah, I think they were being held there, and I think they got scared. And I think they reached out to me because I seemed safe.
I can
Huh.
see that.
I'm gonna have to think for a little while.
There's some quarters for guests. There's clothes you can change into if you like, and a bed, and some privacy.
That sounds nice. There should be a compartment in the box that has a few of my things in it. Do you mind if I grab those and then
Go ahead.
um yeah, and she will excuse herself to like go collect her things and then find quarters. While that's happening, um, so Renee, um, after going through sort of this guided meditation, and after being like having this moment of introspection, do you feel like any of your traditions have been sort of challenged by this?
Yeah, for sure, actually. Uh, First, Renee loves meditation. Like, it kind of puts her to sleep, but like she was on the right track, right? As like she was getting there. But I think more than anything else, I think the like she has a commandment that's like never go unchaperoned with like people with like abilities or like magic powers or anything along the lines of that. And I think taking this job was kind of like her first foray into that. And this is something that kind of opened her up to thinking about just her and what she wants. And that's something that she's never experienced before, of like something different that she was taught she was supposed to do or supposed to like, as opposed to what she's finding that she does like. And I think in this moment, kind of like when she like wakes up, she takes her sweater off and kind of like shrugs out of it, but underneath is a turtleneck. It's like a quarter length sleeve turtleneck. So it's like she's not revealing too much, but it's still just about like right here. And she's just like, baby steps. Skin. It's so much less warm now. Wow.
Isn't it?
Thanks, Cap. This was intriguing, to say the least. I like this a lot. Let me know when you want to do this again. I really liked it.
Of course, dear.
So, what is Renee's new conviction?
Renee's new conviction would be to go with the people that feel right to her, where she feels safe and accepted.
Good. That's very good.
Yeah. So I think that's her new conviction. She gets rid of that last one and go with the people that feel right for her. And this group feels right.
Yeah, you can go ahead and write down that new conviction, and
Would it be too much to ask if what Caliber felt after the meditation?
oh, we can definitely do that.
If Ben
I
wants,
can answer. Um, it might be very different. I think for Caliber, she's very, very, very still. And when she finally does sort of get into the sort of deep breathing, meditative state, just there are soft traces of almost electricity that go over her body, rhythmically, like as she's breathing. And she thinks about how she was made to be one of the most devastating weapons in the universe, but only in the hands of a competent wielder. And she feels she's acknowledging her loneliness, I think. And I think it doesn't necessarily upset her. It's just maybe for the first time she's thinking, I am lonely, even now. And when she sort of comes out of it, she still has a smile and says, "See, wasn't that good? I should probably go recharge. I'll see you all next cycle."
Sorry that
Question.
it didn't give you what you needed.
Would I have like noticed this shift change in Cal? Like, would that have been something that I would have been able to like see or feel like in my peripheral or something like that? Because I think I would absolutely chase after her, like once she left, just to see if she was okay.
I'll leave that up to Gwen. Like, how good is Cal at hiding her emotions?
Not very.
Okay. Yeah, so as soon as she gets up and leaves the room, I'll kind of like get up and shuffle off after her.
Renee, isn't it getting a bit late?
Yeah, but I just wanted to check with you. The meditation, it kind of seems like a lot. And you're the closest person I'm to on this ship. So I feel like I should make sure that you're okay. Do you want like a muffin or something? I can go in the kitchen and make you something like a plasma muffin or make you a dessert or something. I don't necessarily know what you drink. Do you drink anything?
Sometimes I siphon the fuel, but
Your secret's safe with me. And she like whips out her notebook again and like makes like a little scribbly note, but it's in like some alien language, so it's just like symbols, so like no one else can read it but her. That's like, make sure you take a little of the fluid from the ship for Cal. And like closes it back up.
Such a bad idea. She goes to put a hand on your shoulder and just sort of like waits to see if that's okay.
Oh, that's totally fine. And she like kind of grabs her hand back and is just like, you can trust me. I won't tell anybody anything, I promise.
I'm not really super worried about that, but thank you for checking on me. It's interesting being me, and sometimes it's easier to think about other people.
I get that. I get that a lot, actually.
But I'll be okay.
Okay. You can tell me if you're not. I mean, like, I know that I'm like new here, and like I seem kind of experienced and really naive and not really up to par with everybody else on the team, and I get that, but I just wanted to let you know that you have someone who maybe not exactly gets it like you, but I get where you're coming from. So I'm always an ear.
Hey, you wielded a super weapon today.
It was a spoon.
No, no, Renee, it was me.
It was you, wasn't it? Yeah. Thank you. You've taught me a lot.
And I think I'm learning something from you as well. You should go to sleep. People who are more organic than I am tend to need it.
I am getting a little tired. And somebody has to be up to make breakfast in the morning. And she kind of like does like that awkward scooch to kind of like get out of your grip because she realized she's been holding on to your hand a bit too long. And is like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed, so I'll see you in the morning. And like darts to her room. Like high speed.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So now we are going to fast forward to the morning when you are orbiting above the planet and just getting ready to land. So Yildiz, you know about Chloe Strix, you know about the bounty, so you can sort of let everybody know like what you're getting ready to walk into. Just a couple of things about Chloe Strix. She is like this very like severe like woman. She's got like these like very piercing blue eyes. She is like very dangerous and will not hesitate to do violence, but she does bring in her targets alive. So she is one person who you know you have to be out on the lookout for, but there's no telling like how many dangerous people you might run into.
Before we go out to like land and stuff, Arter would want to talk to Yildiz alone. That's okay.
Pretty easy. You know that every morning they always take some time in like their room for like a morning smoke, so you can probably easily find them there.
Nice. Then Arter knocks because they're polite.
Yeah, what is it?
Can I come in and speak with you?
Sure, Captain. And the door's unlocked, so you can just open it.
Yeah. And Arter steps in and takes a look around before sort of finding a place to sit. How are you feeling this morning?
Fine. We're running into a difficult bounty situation. Did you figure out what she can do? Why there's such a big bounty on her head?
I think she's become a host to something. I didn't learn much. Missed you at meditation last night.
And I think Yildiz just kind of like runs their free hand through their, like along their head. Yeah, well, that was never really my thing, was it?
I mean, it's fine.
I hope it was fun. I don't know, is fun the right word to use here?
I mean, I helped Melanie contact the creature. Renee took off her sweater in front of everyone. Yeah, I know.
Alright.
But I think I know Caliber's upset. Maybe touching on something, but it's I feel like I've been too nosy this time.
Yildiz just kind of takes a long drag of their cigarette as they think about that. And they like slowly nod. Captain, Arter, you've always been a nosy bitch of a person, and let me tell you, if you think it's time to pry, I hate to admit it, but it's probably time to pry.
It's kind of why I wanted to talk to you this morning as well. I didn't check in on you after you made that call for us. For me. And I don't imagine that it was comfortable. And so I wanted to tell you how much I appreciated it.
At this, Yildiz is absent-mindedly, like, running their hand along this big scar that is cutting across their right thigh. Not really paying attention to the fact that they're even doing it. It's sort of just like an instinctual response.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't like to talk to anybody that still works back there, honestly. But I had to do it. It's my job.
Well, we could have gone in blind. I trust you to back me up that much.
Yeah, well, maybe you can thank me with a raise.
Is that all you're after? I can make that happen. I think throughout this conversation, Arter is smitten. There's been this sort of like back and forth between Arter and Yildiz for a long time, but there's this sense of like we're going into like a lot more danger than I expected, and there's this feeling of like, while Arter feels like they almost have to act almost kind of like an older sibling, like a parent to like Renee and Caliber, Yildiz is someone that they can rely on and they can come to and like speak to as equals. And so that's why I would like to give you the string if that is okay.
I will take it. And also, I think, in response to Arter asking, like, oh, is that the only thing you're after? I think Yildiz is just gonna laugh and say, why? Is there something else you're offering?
I'm always around to offer comfort to the people I care about. I'm gonna roll some entice. Oh, +3 on heart to get ready for me to choose.
That's my internal panic.
That is a 10.
Okay, what happens on an entice?
So I gain a string on you, and you choose one, which is get flustered and awkward, promise something they think you want, or give in to desire.
Ooh. I think, given Yildiz's whole demeanor and their whole persona, they try very hard to come across as like put together, stoic, someone that's not very easy to ruffle. If they show an emotion, it's like they're so emotionally stunted that if they show an emotion, it's usually anger. And so I think what happens is they get flustered and awkward, and it's disarming for them because this is not behavior that they are willing to show. So I think when you say that, they just kind of comfort, right? Yeah, I mean, the ship could be more comfortable. Yeah.
And what exactly can I do for you to make it more comfortable, dear?
Yildiz like blushes full on, and I think at this point, like, they haven't touched their cigarette in a while. Like, it's just like the ashes are just falling onto the ground. I haven't... Arter, you know I haven't done this for a while.
Yes.
And they just kind of lean in to Arter slowly. And they put, if it's okay with Arter, they put like one hand on Arter's like cheek. And they just kind of lean in as if they're going to kiss Arter, but then they just stop and they say, "Stay alive for me."
I can do that for you, dear.
And they back away.
Make sure to eat something, not just smoke today.
Yeah,
You'll need
yeah.
your energy.
I'll talk to Renee, see what she's got cooking.
All right. And Arter is going to. Arter looks very smug. Like they're trying not to seem smug, but they're very pleased with themselves as they leave the room.
It's a beautiful game moment. So Arter needs to answer a question.
Yes. What am I positive that I think that I need to just read it because I don't actually remember it. What have you done that you're sure they view as inappropriate? I think there was a situation before Caliber joined the crew, before Renee joined the crew, where it's Arter and Yildiz trying to fucking negotiate like how to get along in space for a while. And there was a crew of shipjackers that like in the middle of this like intense like frustration between like Yildiz and Arter trying to like not kill each other in this enclosed space, people tried to jack the ship and Arter just full out like hulked out on these people and like probably went like a little bit too far, like maybe chasing down someone who was running away and just like doing a little bit more damage than feels appropriate. Like Arter was a lot more violent and lost to the beast than Yildiz might have expected or seen. And it's something that Arter is still kind of like nervous about. Because even they were uncomfortable with the amount of like frustration and cruelty that fed into the beast.
So you two share this like this very gay moment, and then you join the rest of the crew for breakfast. Melanie has sort of changed into like this like streetwear, this like baggy jeans, crop hoodie look, where just like I love Renee's expressions. Yeah, and Melanie is so joining everyone for breakfast and telling you more about her self-publication. Yeah, just like she there's a lot of stories that like the big name papers like don't want to investigate because they get paid off by corporations, and so it's up to people like us to get to the real truth of things.
Yeah, I totally understandable. How is your box? Your box is a lot fancier than most of the boxes that I've been in.
Oh, I mean, it's like a full like cryo suite. So like once I'm in there, it's wait, what?
Oh, she just turns into a sword and just kind of like, Renee, catch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's very cool.
Renee's like carrying a plate of pancakes when Caliber's like, catch! And she like drops the plate and like grabs and like fumbles with it and is like, oh. Cal.
And then
I worked really hard on those banana pancakes.
She will unsword herself in your arms and just say, oh, the floor's clean. I can still eat them.
It's okay. I have more batter in the kitchen. I'll be right back. And she kind of like gently places you down and is just like, don't worry about it. I have more. It's okay. And then just goes back into the kitchen to like start making more pancakes.
I'm glad that you're getting more comfortable with the crew, Cal.
Oh, everyone's great. As long as everyone is happy with my performance.
Some people are happier than others, Cal, aren't they? As they're like, as Yildiz is like eating pancakes.
I don't know who that is, but they should make themselves known. I know it's not you.
Oh, Cal, you'll understand one day.
I thought you were about to say you'll understand when you're older.
I think if everybody on the crew Ardor has the parent energy, it's not Yildiz.
That's fair. Ardor's talking. Ardor just sort of like sits down next to Yildiz and is just like, Yildiz meant to it was meant romantically. It was a romantic. It seems like you and Renee get along romantically.
Just sort of see her, everything about her lights up a little bit, flickers a little bit. She goes, oh.
Mm-hmm.
She just sort of dissociates.
She's still in the kitchen. You could always go help. And then Ardor's gonna steal like a pancake off of Yildiz's plate.
Hey, that's mine.
Fight me for it.
I'd kick your ass and you know it.
I think like Renee like comes back in with like another little plate and is like trying her very damnedest to like not make direct eye contact with Cal because just like her mind's been on 10 since last night. So it's like she's like trying her hardest and it's like there's more coming in the kitchen, I'll be right back, and just like almost like slams the plate on the table and like clatters a bit and like a pancake flops off on the table and she just like darts back into the kitchen. Like,
Melanie, have you ever done like research on like how awkward people can be, like when they care about somebody?
I mean, that's not like really my area of expertise. You know, I do, you know, like more like hard hitting stories. I'm not really like I don't really do like the social side so much. Is, you know, like I am more focused on like the material reality rather than like the interpersonal. But Gwen, go ahead.
Just Calibur sort of flicker back into reality and say, I'll have you know that I am very hard-hitting. Wait, we're talking about me.
Yes, even Melanie can see it, dear.
It seems like a lot of people know a lot about me, and I don't know a lot about me.
Well, there's some things you're supposed to be polite about, you know.
Right. And this is just starting to get visibly, like the realization is slowly coming on her face.
Ardor like leans over to Yildiz. I love this part.
So cruel, Ardor. Keep going.
So you all land planet side. There is a, you know, sort of a ship yard where you can dock not too far from the hospital. It'll be a pretty quick walk for you to get there. The main thing you have to look out for are, you know, anyone who is after you right now. Melanie is kind of like a little, you know, high strung, a little stressed out at the moment, but is, you know, keeping it cool, and you start walking.
no, I was gonna say Renee's on high alert because she is on run from the authority. So yeah, she'll probably try her hardest to cover herself up as she
kind of like walks into the hospital with everyone else, because she is A, on the run, and B, very well known. Like, and they all know that she's missing at this point in time. So that was all.
Okay, yeah. I'll say you are in sort of like a relatively metropolitan city. Like everything is like very techy. There's like plenty of people around, so you're not so worried about someone like making a move like on the street in broad daylight. But it's still smart to just like watch your backs as you sort of make your way to the hospital. Are there any like specific things you're keeping an eye out for, or like precautions you're taking?
I think Yildiz would keep their eyes out for Chloe or anybody that they would remember as like having worked with Chloe in the past. If they have, I don't know if their like group has any sort of like uniform or indication that they are all part of the same group, but anything like that they would be eyes peeled for.
Okay.
Arter's just standing, leading the way to the hospital, which is funny because everyone is taller than them, but they are like almost the mama duck and the ducklings.
Wonderful.
Renee on the lookout for those green and gold robes of the authority, like, or their crest or their symbol or anything like that.
Caliber is just looking out for any sudden movements. She's ready to react.
I'll say, Renee, as you are sort of like moving through the city, what you see is actually like a sign, basically, that you recognize as like basically like the church's like coat of arms or like insignia, basically. And it's basically like directing you towards like the local like church building. It's not in the direction you're going, it's in a different direction. It's like not quite the opposite, but it's like on a like branching path. So as long as you don't go that way, you think you'll be okay. Yildiz, you don't see Chloe, but what you do spot from just like your years of experience, there are a lot of people who are sort of like standing with a particular posture or like leaning against a wall in a particular way. And what they're all doing, they are all standing so that they could very quickly grab a weapon if needed. It's not so many of them that you think they're like organized. You think it is like multiple individuals who are all just sort of on the lookout. One of them does sort of like make eye contact with you as you're moving through the city, and you think maybe it's someone you recognize, but just got one of those like very generic faces, so you just sort of like take that in as you keep moving.
Yeah, I think knowing that Yildiz is going to try and catch up to Arter and just kind of like nudge them and whisper to them, heads up, I think bounty hunters are already here.
Understood. Thank you. Do you think I need to have a growth spurt yet?
No, but be ready.
Understand.
So you all stop in front of the hospital, and Melanie looks to Arter, says, I don't know if I should be doing this.
Hospitals are usually connected, if not directly to governments, with some government liaisons.
Well, I mean, it's not just that. I mean, I thought that, like, I don't know, I was just having some weird side effects or something, and that they could get rid of them. But if there's another person with me, I don't know if I mean, is it wrong to do this?
Arter is going to hold their hand out in a very like soft, like an offering, with a very confident smile. You have a couple options right now. If you've become a host to someone who doesn't have a body and is sharing yours, you could try to remove them. This is your form, this is your body. If you want to instead get to know that person, get to know your new self, we can walk straight back around and we can try and find you someplace where you can figure out yourself.
Melanie sort of takes your hand and says, I think now that I've spoken to them, it feels like I should keep talking and see if we can figure out what to do ourselves.
I think that's wonderful. There are people watching us. I don't know if they've tagged you yet. If we're not going here, we should turn around and go back to the ship as soon as possible. I'm not saying this to stress you out, but I need you to be aware of the danger.
She nods. She takes a deep breath, and you hear a voice go, "It's a little late for that." Stepping out through the hospital doors is a tall, blonde woman with these like very striking blue eyes, dressed in like leather combat gear with like pouches and like things like weapons like strapped in, winks at Yildiz and says, "How's it going, babe?"
Chloe, always see you everywhere I go, don't I? Every bounty. You're always there.
"Only the good ones. You could always just let me have it."
And where would be the fun in that?
Caliber's gonna lean down to Ardor and just say, "It's a lot of weapons. Compensating much?"
Definitely for something, dear. And Ardor says that out loud and very brash. It's a little, if this is okay, it's a little jealous. They're a little like, excuse me? You're calling, who are you calling, babe? That's my second in command. But like, you know.
Oh, I see. You got a good girl job.
No. Chloe, do you. We haven't seen each other in so long. Where are my manners? Do you want to step aside and talk for a second?
Sure, we can talk. Just sort of nods to step away.
Yildiz will just look back at the rest of the crew and just like give them a look like, trust me. And then they walk over with Chloe. Chloe, you can't blow my cover like this. I'm not here to actually work with these people. Who do you think I am? You think I left my last job to be with what? These suckers?
Sort of like looks over your shoulder and says, "I mean, they do seem a little bit green."
I would like to add that right now, like Ardor is wearing like a very like a tartan sweater and like comfortable sweatpants. Like they do not look like a ship captain. If just to add to this moment.
Look, Chloe, I am here for the bounty, and only for the bounty. This group, this ship, this crew, it's just one means to an end. So, if you don't mind, you can leave. And specifically, I have a move that says when I pretend to be a villain to win a villain's trust, they trust me enough to offer me an opportunity and I gain a string on them.
So I'm gonna
And then
give
I can
you.
choose one from a list.
So I'm gonna give you a string on Chloe, and she just goes, "All right. But listen, I didn't come all this way to walk away empty-handed, so, if you want this to go quiet like, you gotta give me something."
So in this case, then, I think based on Chloe's response, the option that has been chosen is the villain requires an act of villainy to prove your intentions first. Yildiz is just going to look at Chloe, look back at the group, look back at Chloe. What do you want, Chloe? What'll it take to make you leave?
I mean, a cut of the money would be nice, but, you know, since seeing as you haven't collected on it yet, maybe one of your old stashes, or, you know, you got a pretty little thing or two stashed away.
Yeah, do you remember that one job 5 years ago, I think it was now? There was a hammer you were particularly interested in that I was moving.
Yeah, I remember. Traxxas 5.
I could tell you where it is, give you its location. It's still out there. Hasn't been bought yet, from what I've been told.
If you gave me that, I'd be willing to let you take this. I mean, can't speak for everybody else here, but...
Alright then. And, they kind of like crack their neck a little. Alright. It's in the neutron star, 3 light years from here. Do you remember that one, what was it? It was a bar of some kind. That old dive hole that people always go to on their way between this galaxy and the next.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so the owner, the barkeep, they have it. Don't know why, don't ask me. I was just there to deliver it, but...
Now, you know, if I go all the way out there and it's not there, I will be very, very unhappy.
Yeah, but it'll be an excuse for you to come back and find me, wouldn't it? And I know you like visiting me.
She gives you a little wink and takes a step back and says, well, you enjoy your new crew, and I'll see you on the other side.
See you around, Chloe. And they walk back to their crew. Whether or not Chloe actually believes them is a whole other question, I think, but...
Yeah, at the very least, Chloe has left the immediate area and is not getting in your way. So now, you just have to deal with the other 4 bounty hunters who are making their way towards you.
I think maybe the rest of the crew is like dealing with that while Yildiz has been dealing with Chloe. So they like come back at like the tail end of it.
So yeah, so Arter, Caliber, Renee, you see 4 people sort of coming from different directions towards you and like drawing blades.
Danger levels are becoming apparent and critical, Captain.
Been a while since I've grown up. Caliber, I expect you to perform well here, and I expect you to protect Renee. Renee, I expect you to protect Caliber.
Yes,
Cap.
And I'm gonna roll daring to transform into a wereshark. That is only a 9. On a 9, I choose 1 out of my list of transform. So I can choose your harmony with your beast and make clear condition. You are magnificent and little escapes your notice. You gain leverage or an opportunity with a monster. Pain is nothing to you. Ignore the next time you would stagger while transform, or you can move it. I will. You are magnificent and little escapes your notice. You gain leverage or an opportunity with a monster. So Arter is 5 foot tall. When they are not a wereshark. And the reason they wear like nice, comfy, loose clothes is because they grow to 7 feet tall when they become a wereshark.
You are 7 feet tall, little escapes your notice.
So gain leverage or opportunity. I'm not really sure what to do for that, but I know that it'd be cool whatever it is I do.
Yeah, I think no one was expecting this from you. So as you transform, sort of everyone clears out of the way, and the bounty hunters, they were like closing in as if they were just gonna like jump you, and now they're sort of like keeping a little distance as they're like being a little more wary.
Oh, where's your bravado, guys?
I don't think Caliber's seen this before, so I think it takes her a moment. Excellent, Captain. And reaches out as she always does, but instead directly to Renee. And you see that her hand, while she's not looking at you, is reaching out, is shaking a little bit. And again, without looking, says, I don't want to be alone.
Renee immediately grabs it back and squeezes it just as tight and is like, you'll never be with me.
So what'll it be?
Let's do this.
And I think Caliber transforms, and it is a similar shape to the big spoon, but the actual like spoon part is a little bit more flattened and jagged, and you see this electricity sparking off the end of it. It's almost like a messed up pizza cutter. And Caliber will designate Renee as her wielder.
Okay. So let's go. Let's go ahead and have Renee make the first roll. There are 4 dangerous people sort of closing in on you. You've got a weapon in hand. What do you want to do?
I think Renee feels super empowered at this point in time now, knowing that she has Caliber and that they're both on the same page and within like protecting each other. So I think whoever is closest, actually, I think Renee just gets like this gust of bravado and just like massive wheels it to just try to cleave it, kind of like steps in front of Melanie a bit and just like wheels it kind of like to see who like anyone who's close enough to hit him.
Okay, go ahead. Let's roll fight.
I jumped out. All right, that is a 7. Yeah, 7. Wait. With my fight, I can. Hold on. With my fight, I can. That is a 9, actually. Because I can roll either daring or grace with that. Yeah. 8. 8. Yeah. Plus 1. So I'll roll with my grace. Yeah. That's an 8.
You also can roll with spirit if you are willing to take the condition.
That's right. Okay. I will take the condition frightened. And it's a -2 to my fight. Okay, so that takes me right back down to a what 6, 7 again? Or is that the next roll when the -2 to my with the condition would apply?
So it'll be, I think it'll be after.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so that'll be a 9, and then I took frightened because these people are coming after us, and I just saw Cat turn into a shark.
Okay.
So because you rolled spirit, the target of the attack also takes that condition.
Oh. Okay.
And also you can inflict 2 conditions with the same fight move.
Yeah, so since your total is a 9 on fight, you get to choose 2 options. And because you used pain begets pain, the person you're striking is already frightened as this like flashing like sparking pizza cutter like lashes out at them. You can see like their eyes go wide. So you can choose 2 of these options under fight.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back and back. So I'm going. You said I can choose 2. Okay. I'm going to, through violence or cutting words, inflict a condition and create opportunity for an ally.
I'm gonna say as you sort of send this person like crashing to the ground, you sort of like cleared the way for Ardor to come through. At the same time, you're not used to this level of like physical combat. Like even your training is usually like quite this intense. So I'm gonna say you're like you're a little bit on the back foot as like clashing with this person like sends you stumbling back just a little. That's so you will have the frightened condition. And now Ardor, you're a big shark.
Ardor, no, actually, Ardor is going to whatever like bounty hunter looks the smallest, Ardor is going to grab them with like a massive fist and just try to throw them into another one.
I love it.
So I'm gonna fight. That is 6 + 2 + 2, 10.
Let's go.
All right.
I'm gonna use big dyke energy as well. So when you make it clear to your foes that you're the biggest threat, and for the rest of the scene, choose someone present to be impressed or intrigued by you. I'm gonna choose Yildiz whenever they come back to the scene.
Maybe
but
I was
yeah.
already gonna be impressed.
Once during the scene, when I gain the string on someone, I can also gain a string on another person that considers me an enemy.
So we'll resolve this fight roll first. So basically, like you just like fully grab this person by the face, and they're just kind of like hacking at your arm with their sword, which is like it hurts, but it's like with like how like you're rough and like scaly your skin is right now. It's not really penetrating, and you just fully throw them into another person. I assume this is going to be violence, inflicting violence.
Yeah, I'm inflicting hopeless on this person that just tried to like fight against this massive shark person. I'm going to provoke my opponent to get a string, and you know what? I'm gonna get a string on Chloe, just in case. Someone who considers me an enemy, and I'm going to seize a superior position, which is just, I think, like Ardor lowers their shoulder and is assuming the I'm going to ram you position.
I like it. And I'll say, Yildiz, you sort of like sensed this commotion from a distance. Chloe was walking away, and you sort of like run back over as like the conflict is happening. There's currently only like one person on their feet, and you do see Ardor just like cleaning house.
I think at that, especially when Yildiz comes back and like sees Ardor just doing what they're doing, they're gonna like take a moment, take it all in. And you know, they are impressed. They are taken aback because they don't often see Ardor in this form. I think because Ardor doesn't like to necessarily go full wereshark all the time, so it's sort of like a rarer occurrence. And I think they are impressed by the fighting prowess that Ardor has in this form. And so honestly, I don't think Yildiz is going to step in to take down the last person. They're gonna let the rest of the crew handle it. You got it.
I like it. So Renee and Caliber, there's just one person sort of still left standing.
I am going to use my "Don't give up" move, and just you, Renee, you're here and you're echoing in your head. Remember, we're together. There's nothing to be afraid of. And roll emotional support. If that's cool. Hut. It's very bad.
How bad?
That's a 4.
Okay, so using your "Don't give up." Well, first of all, Renee, when you hear this voice telling you like encouraging you, how do you respond?
No, I'd say it's coming from Cal. Renee takes it 100% in stride. Like it second wins her.
Do you say anything back?
Renee just kind of nods her head and goes, "Together we're unstoppable." And just immediately, I think at first she kind of like gets a little bold, and it's like, "Hey, you fucker over there, come over here. I want you."
Go ahead and clear your frightened condition.
Yes, because I could not take a -2 to any more of those dang on rolls. You want me to roll fight?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Much better. Grace, that is a 13.
Love it. You like sort of like taunt this person to come towards you, and they like look at you and like look at Arter and go, "Yeah, I'm gonna pick that one." And as like they're like basically like trying to circle around so that like when you are between them and Arter, and then when they step forward, you just like instantly like take them out.
I think I like kind of like do like a spin wheel blade with the spoon really quick before I just like and just like cleave like directly through the other person. And I'm like, "Don't fuck with me." Oh, gosh. Oh, I'm really sorry about that language, Cap.
Yeah, I think Caliber's smitten.
Yeah. And I think between that and like the 4 that you rolled, I think you just sort of you overheat basically, and you just at this point you can't hold your weapon form.
Yeah, you just is just this sort of crackle of electricity, and she just kind of pops and just falls to the ground.
I immediately reach my arms out to catch her.
And she's just warm, just blushing. Just that was really good.
You said we shouldn't be scared, and I wasn't scared. Not with you. That was exhilarating.
Yeah.
Yeah, Renee is also smitten. 100%. Right. You can absolutely take a string.
Yes, each of you each gain a string on the other one. I think you two have this like very tender moment, and you see like sort of another group of like armed individuals like pushing their way through the crowd towards you. And I think Melanie walks past all of you, closes her eyes, and takes a deep breath. Okay, got this. And when she opens her eyes, she has one eye, hers, and one eye, the entity's, and she rises up into the air and just says, "We are not running anymore," and sweeps her arms and shoves everyone away. No, I don't know why I said that. We're definitely running, and just immediately takes off back for the ship.
Arter has to get a quip in because they've noticed Yildiz just sort of watching. He's like the show?
Yildiz just shakes their head and runs after with the rest of the crew. I assume we're all following Melody.
Yeah. So you make it back to the ship. You take off. So Caliber, you are smitten with Renee, which means you have to answer a question.
Yeah. So I have to answer the question. What useful act do you believe their affection for you is contingent on? And I think in Renee's case, she thinks that the useful act is that she thinks that perhaps once she teaches Renee how to defend herself and be more confident, that she won't need her as a weapon to protect her.
And Renee, you have to answer a question.
Mine says, which of your values do they openly violate or decry? One of my commandments is to never fight a weaker person's battles. And Renee fully understands and knows in this aspect that she is indeed the weaker person. And Cal steps up to the plate every time. Like whenever she needs reassurance, whenever she needs comforting, whenever she feels as if she's not exactly right for this, Cal is always right in her ear, reminding her that you have just as much right being here as everybody else. And yeah, that's my answer.
That is beautiful. Now that you all are, you're back on the ship, you are safe, you are sort of free to chart your own course, Melanie sort of addresses the group and says, so listen, I appreciate everything you all have done for me, and it's been a really big help, and I don't know if I would have been able to do it without you. I wouldn't really feel right asking you to do more than that, but do you think I could stick around for a little while?
Second in command, what do you feel?
I've transported lots of weapons in my time, non-sentient and, looking over at Cal, sentient. I don't see why not.
Not that we feel that you are a weapon.
No, but whatever's inside you.
It's a person that is really strong.
Set Renee and Caliber.
There's always room for more.
I hope you feel really warm and comfortable here. I'm kind of new to the team too, and I was a little worried that I wouldn't necessarily fit in, but everyone kind of welcomed me with open arms, and I'm not the newest person on the team anymore. So I have no issue with this whatsoever. And if Cap and everyone else says that you're cool, then you're absolutely cool in my book too. Welcome. And kind of like reaches her hand out.
She shakes your hand and says, thanks.
Before everybody sort of disperses for the night, in order to recuperate from this very eventful day that we have had, I think Yildiz will go over to Ardor, who I assume has like transformed back into their human version of themselves.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna lean down into Ardor's ear and just whisper, I see you learned some new tricks. Spar with me tonight. And then they, without waiting for a response, are just gonna leave the room.
Ardor just looks really smug. It's very pleased with themselves.
So I think that is a wonderful place to call the session to a close. How do you feel, everybody?
I love these guys.
This
Yes,
is
so
so fun.
I enjoy
So
it.
much.
So yeah, let's just go around one more time, and you can tell people what you do, where to find you. Let's start with Gwen.
Oh man, I'm a tabletop RPG skill monkey. I do art, I do writing, I do design, I perform. And you can find me at PixTheWad or glitchypixie.com for all things related to me.
Thank you, and Hamna.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hamna. I use any and all pronouns, and I am a tabletop RPG performer. You can find me on Twitter at hshahid_. That's HSHAHID_. And that is where I talk about all of the different projects I'm a part of. Right now, I am part of an ongoing Invisible Sun campaign on the Friends Who Roll Dice Twitch channel. If you like queer disasters, if you like character backstories and mysteries and surrealism, you should definitely come check it out. We stream every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time.
Thank you for that, Sam.
Hi, it's me. I'm Sam. I go by she, they pronouns. I'm relatively new here, so not really just kind of getting my feel, but I am also a tabletop role player, performer. You can find me on Twitter at LUSTTFORLIFEEX. Yeah, that was a lot. But that is where you can see all of my updates on upcoming campaigns that I'm in and one shots and all news about me. I also screenwrite, so yeah.
All right, and close us out, please, Vic.
Hey guys, I'm Vic. I use he and they pronouns. I am a TTRPG podcaster, performer, designer, triple threat. You can find any of my work on my itch page, villainvincenzio.itch.io, as well as just listening to my wonderful voice be several different kinds of himbos across different podcasts. Either Forgotten Eras, where I play a dark himbo, or on Beholder to No One, Morning Blues podcast, for a Hyena Shifter Cleric himbo, which is just, I'm making so many decisions, so many interesting decisions.
Wonderful. I have been your game master for the evening, Michelle Jones. You can find me on Twitter at AleshaKills. That's ALESHAKILLS. I am a game designer, writer. I wrote the Blade Soul playbook that the very talented Gwen Kelly's been playing. I've got more stuff on the way, so just keep an eye out. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. And I hope you all have a wonderful time. Good night.